Hey everybody, it's David Carr and welcome to my first video review, my first gear review. I said I was going to start doing this and it's taken me a while to kind of get the ball rolling, but here I am with the very first review of gear. And I want to talk to you today about a lens that I love, but first I want to tell you that the review and any reviews after this, my plan is to really give you the core stuff, the core important features of the gear. I don't necessarily want to go into all these specs and these sub-menu items that you might find. I don't care about a lot of that stuff when I'm shooting, and I think most photographers don't really care about a lot of those things. We're not thinking about the graph that we saw in some 9-page review of a lens and worried about, oh my gosh, we're going to have chromatic aberration when I don't worry about all that stuff as long as I know that I'm using quality, and this thing is quality. This is the 300mm f4 from Nikon, and I kind of forgot that this thing even existed. I'd seen it advertised a couple years ago. I was shooting the Nikon 200 to 500mm lens, which is fantastic and great value, and it's a 5.6 fixed 5.6, beautiful lens. But I tell you what, it was so heavy and so bulky that when I travel, and I travel a lot for photo tours, I help lead photo tours with Bokeh Photography Academy. Check them out, bokehlav.com. But you know, when I travel and I've got this big honking lens, it always kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. It was always like the third wheel of my gear. I had to find another spot for it. I had to put it in my suitcase because I couldn't fit it in my camera bag with all the other stuff that I was carrying. So it just became a little bit cumbersome for me, and I started seeking out, like, is there another option? Is there something else that I could shoot with that would cover this? And this thing has been incredible. I've been shooting it for probably about 5 months now. Took it to Yellowstone National Park, took it to Yosemite, took it to Joshua Tree National Park, and I've shot some portraits with it, some senior portraits, and you know, it's so versatile. You wouldn't think 300mm would be versatile, but I'm telling you, if you just play around with this lens a little bit, maybe rent it, or if you know somebody who's got one, borrow it from them if they're nice, and it's amazing. I think you will really be blown away. It's got vibration reduction, so you're going to be able to shoot at a lower shutter speed and still get a sharp photo. And you know what, it's so small and lightweight that it doesn't even come with a collar, a tripod collar, because you don't really need it on a tripod most of the time. And I just can't say enough about, look at this, 300mm, and it's only that big. They have done something magical inside here. I don't know what kind of voodoo they've put in this thing, but it works so well. The colors are fantastic. It's incredibly sharp. It just does a great job. I know f4 might scare some people. You think, oh, that's not enough bokeh. That's not going to give me enough bokeh, or bokeh, whatever you want to call it. I'm telling you right now, f4 is amazing at 300mm. You know, yes, 2.8 would be wonderful. The 2.8 version of this lens, the 300mm 2.8 from Nikon, is about that big and weighs about as much as a truck. Now, it's an amazing lens. It's amazing. But you want to be carrying around a $6,000 piece of glass with you everywhere you go? If you're getting paid to do it, getting paid big bucks, then knock yourself out. But if you're just traveling and you want something that you can be versatile with, but you don't necessarily have to break the bank completely with it. Now, this is not a cheap lens. But this is perfect for that. This lens is about $2,000 new, which is a lot of money. I was able to pick up a used one for about $1,500, and it was in impeccable condition, so it was worth it to me to save the $500 and put that towards something else. But you know, I encourage you to check it out. If this is something in the range that you're looking for, you know, 300mm, something telephoto, something a little longer than a 70 to 200, you might want to check this baby out. It works so well with a teleconverter as well. I've got the Nikon 1.7 teleconverter, which takes this up to 500mm at f6.7. 6.7, it's not quite as low as I'd like to go, but at 500mm, that's still a pretty respectable amount of bokeh, and you're not gonna really think too much about that, because so often 300mm is going to cover what you need. And if you're in that rare situation where you're like, you know, I really need some more reach, well, pop on that teleconverter and you're good to go. That's all I'm going to say about this. Like I said, I'm not going to get into a lot of nuanced details. It's just a gorgeous lens. I encourage you to try it out. I'll be back with more reviews sometime soon. I just got to figure out what's next, what I want to talk about next. See you soon.